Good evening. Santon back again for another West Ham Daily, carrying all the other lads. I mean, where's Russie B been? Where's Stelios been? Where's the lads? Where's the West Ham network? Don't worry, you can rely on me to bring you the West Ham content as we have promised, of course. So thank you very much for joining us. Of course, if you're new around here, I'm Anton. So please hit that subscribe button. We're the West Ham network. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. I wasn't feeling 100% yesterday, but I'm back. I'm bouncing back, ready to rock and roll with a busy day with work, busy day with the kids. That's just the nature of what we do, working from home and all that jazz. But listen, it's much appreciated that you're joining me on this fine Wednesday, or I don't even know what day we're in today. Let me have a look. Yeah, Wednesday evening. And international football is a distant memory. See you later. I am not going to lie to you. I'm thankful. It's a time of the season that I don't particularly enjoy. However, we will be welcoming it back again in 4 weeks' time. Yes, 4 weeks. It's never ending. And you just feel like you get into the groove of watching the Premier League and the Europa League, and then suddenly, bang, it all stops. You get international football, and it's just not the same. It's the qualifiers. Just I don't get the buzz. I don't get the vibe. It's not really for me. I love the competitions. I know you have to go through the qualifiers, but I prefer the main cup competitions. And I think, as we've said before, Arsene Wenger stated that we should play these tournaments in one full month, like the qualifiers in one full month, and get it kind of done and out of the way. And I'm all for that, to be honest. I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea. But anyway, like I said, if you are new around here, please go and hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up, put your comments in the chat. We will engage. This is about Diop and Ogbonna tonight, so I'm going to ask you to get your opinions on the two centre halves coming up for the game at Everton. So please start getting the chat on the go, and I will go through it as much as I can. But before we move on, I'm going to bring to your attention our channel sponsors, who of course is One Football. So as you can see, their next and latest prize is a Tony Cottee signed and framed West Ham United shirt. It costs £4.95 to enter, and there's only 65 tickets to be sold, and only 22 have been sold. So if you are interested, then click in the chat. I've put the link in there, as you can see from there. So go and check that out if you are interested in winning that prize. And do not worry, Matt is not entering the competition, so you'll have a better chance, of course, of doing it. So let's get into it, though. Let's get into the nitty gritty of today's West Ham Daily. Actually, before I do that, I'll go and say hi to everyone in the chat, and let's see who is kicking about in the chat right now. So let's go right up to the top. Neil T, good to see you. Good evening. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for joining us. Long Dark Tunnel, thank you again for joining us. Hope you're well. Pete Chapman, good man. And before we do move on, for all you regular viewers, I've actually got something hopefully coming tomorrow or over the next couple of days that I think you are going to be interested in purchasing, and it's for Christmas time. But I'll hold it under wraps. I've got my wife involved. She's got her own business. So I'll keep it under wraps until I physically show you what it is. But I do think you're all going to like it as well. So keep your eyes peeled for tomorrow evening for that, hopefully. Stell's exact words before the international break, where there'll be lots more content now that the break has started. Hasn't done a live in about a week. That's because he's sunning himself in Cyprus, mate. Liam, that is what he's just literally doing nothing. Isn't Stell on a luxury holiday here in the sun? He absolutely is. Andy Pepper, good evening all. Hope you're all well tonight. Thank you very much. P. Gads, there was someone on TV that looked like Stell at the Cyprus Malta game. Looked really drunk, shirtless, with terrible man boobs. You have literally found Stell. Good. What a good spot. James Bond, good evening all. Thank you very much. Neil, thank you for joining us. 6 a.m. on Thursday morning. I absolutely love it. Sarky, you were saying it must have been him. Yes, it was. Apologies, Long Dark Tunnel. Apologies, but I lost something just as I clicked live, it went away and it came back. Even if everyone can't wait for Sunday's game, neither can I. I would love, love, love to have been going. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away, really, for me to get down to Liverpool and watch us play against Everton. However, 4 weeks away from, or 4.5 weeks away from the baby coming, it's too close, and I can't take the risk, really, of being away too much from home just now. Thank you for joining us, Andy Pepper, Gaza, good to see you, Patrick Walsh. You're all talking to each other. Thunder and Joy, even all hammers. Been better, but okay in general. Cheers. Please look after yourself, mate. Newcastle want Rodgers, but he is not interested. It's just all about that now, isn't it? Money, money, money. Hi, Anton. Hope you're good. I am, mate. I am. Happy Amaret. Pleasure to see you again. James still got done for D&D at the Cyprus game, and he got himself banged up abroad again. Honestly, mate, you nail on the head. It's gone slow with there being no club football. Absolutely. Long Dark Tunnel's gone all in, and he's going Oggy all day long. We'll keep it. Put it in the chat. Oggy or Diop. I'll discuss it as we go through the daily this evening, and we'll go through it. Gaza, hi, Long Dark Tunnel. Kevin, I am well. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Pat. Hope you're well. Patrick, kicked back in the chat. The Pablo, absolutely. Dappy Amaret saying Diop is just not quite ready yet. However, Oggy hasn't been on his peak form for the last couple of games. Tricky one. Well, let's see what I can do to potentially, I'm not saying I'm going to convince you, because I think a lot of people who have been watching the channel think that I'm on a kind of Ogbonna vendetta against them, and I absolutely am not. I can't remotely deny to you, I hold my hand up and I'll take it back. Ogbonna has been one of our best defenders over the last 18 months to 2 years. I don't think he was before that, but I think we're starting to see maybe age catching up in Oggy. I think, yes, okay, the Italian footballers and Italian defenders kind of mature like a fine wine, but there's a case maybe as to why Issa Diop seems to be primed to come in and take over from Ogbonna for the West Ham at some point. So West Ham, as we know, face Everton at Goodison Park in our next game on Sunday afternoon, and it could be argued that Diop should come in for Ogbonna at Goodison Park. The 24-year-old moved to West Ham back in the summer of 2018 for around £25 million. The French under-21 international made 95 appearances for Toulouse. He made his League One debut for Toulouse, his hometown club, in November 2015, a 2-0 win over Nice before scoring his first goal in a 3-0 victory at Troyes in his second French top-flight appearance. He skippered the side for the first time in April 2017 before being appointed club captain in October of that year, leading the side to the quarterfinals of the French Cup. He made 34 League One appearances in his last season as Toulouse struggled, only avoiding relegation with a 4-0 playoff win to secure their safety. At international level, Diop has scored in the 4-0 win over Italy as France won the European Under-19s Championship in 2016. And the towering centre-back made a fine start to life with West Ham and was totally dominant in his debut campaign in England, and you could say that was maybe a mixture of the partnership between him and Balbuena. But unfortunately for Diop, however, he struggled to replicate that form for the past 18 months or so. Diop's form has been patchy at best over the past few years, and he can be great at times, but on other occasions his concentration and positioning badly lets him down. The former Toulouse ace has been very impressive at the start of this season, however, and Diop was very good against Dynamo Zagreb and Rapid Vienna in the Europa League and was truly magnificent. And I'm not even remotely underestimating that. I should be, he was magnificent for West Ham against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. Meanwhile, Ogbonna has looked nowhere near his best. The aging Italian defender is questionably poor against Brentford. And he was questionably poor against Manchester United, Crystal Palace, and even as far as saying, like, the Newcastle game. Perhaps it's time for a change. Perhaps the centre-back pairing of Issa Diop and Kurt Zouma is the future at West Ham. I think Diop does deserve a chance to prove himself in the Premier League again, and I think that maybe him alongside Zouma could be a partnership for the future for West Ham in the Premier League. I'm certainly by no means writing off Ogbonna. I'm absolutely not just yet, but I'm absolutely not writing him off. he still has a very important role to play at West Ham. But perhaps Diop's ability with his, his speed, his agility will be the better option for West Ham, especially away at home from home against Everton. However, they've got a very pacey front line, and we need to be able to match that. And I just don't think Ogbonna's pace is going to be able to match that. And I've just got this suspicion that Moyes is going to be looking at this area. And after the start that Diop's had, and I think with the break that's come in, with the results we've come off of, I do see Moyes making some changes. He said Diop, like I said, was quite simply brilliant for West Ham against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. His display proves he is exactly what we potentially need at the club to add to our current crop of defenders. He was dominant in the air, he was quick along the ground, and he made some superb last-ditch blocks and tackles. He made 3 interceptions, 7 clearances, 1 block, and 2 tackles that night against them. He also won 2 aerial duels and completed 93% of his 30 attempted passes. He does have so much potential at the age of 24, and he's perfectly built to succeed at the very highest level of West Ham and the squad, and with Zouma and all the players that are there. Now, people think there is a vendetta when it comes to me and Ogbonna, but I can't I will also state that West Ham have conceded goals for many seasons, quite a lot of goals per season. That's what I should add, And I've always stated that I felt like previously Ogbonna was capable of a calamity, and I felt like Ogbonna always needed a sitting defender to play alongside him. But I can't help but think that, and absolutely, Zouma was to blame also for some of those goals and some of the incidents that happened in the last previous games. However, I do think that Moyes is potentially priming Diop ready to potentially try out this, what they're calling the new French triangle. Is that how you do a triangle? Yeah, it is. With potentially Areola and goalkeeper and Zouma and Diop. And I think you may get a really strong understanding between the 3 French-speaking players. And I think this could be the future of West Ham. But it goes back to the scenario now. I'm talking about the Premier League game against Everton, but it goes back to the scenario where West Ham are playing competitive games week in and week out. Europa League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup coming up, and the Premier League. And all these players are going to get game time. But I wonder if Moyes is priming these players to be ready, and potentially Diop stepping in instead of Ogbonna. They have pacey players at Everton, and I don't think Ogbonna's pace is going to be able to handle it. We've seen that he couldn't do that against Brentford. We've seen that he couldn't do that against Manchester United because they were beaten for pace. Zouma was our standout defender at Manchester United game where we got beat, unfortunately, and none of the defenders will stand out against Brentford. They were all to fault. But I just wonder if there is, because Zouma, and I'm not just not blaming him. I think he was to blame for quite a lot of the things that were going on, but he does look like he could take West Ham to the next level, and potentially is looking for that partnership beside him. And I just wonder if we find that Diop that we had when we first signed him, would that make the difference to West Ham, and that would bring the average age down? I'm going to jump into the chat, see what you all think, but please let's go there and see what everyone is saying as well with regards to it. So get in the chat, let me know. Do you want Diop to play over Ogbonna, or do you think Ogbonna will play over Diop? Now, what I will say to you is that when you do a little bit of investigational work, there's a lot of chat about Diop just now. And I always feel like where the sources that we start to hear from is potentially starting to look at this option. Moyes' history of changing things up, especially after a couple of international breaks, if West Ham don't come off a couple of good results, which we've not, then he has a history of potentially looking to shake it up a little bit. And I think this is the game that he is going to do it with. Let's have a look here and see what everyone is saying. Patrick is saying a point at Goodison is always good. Absolutely. Gaza, I take a point on Sunday, not really a good record at Goodison. I know, but I think with Moyes going back to his old club, I do believe that he's wanting to go there for the win. I don't think he's got the mindset that we need to go there and take a point. I think if anyone would take a point, of course, going away from home, let alone going away from home to Everton. But I think Moyes is again going there to prove a point that he's building something. And these are the games that we need to turn up and challenge and can take the game to them. We've got enough. squad depth. We've got enough quality in our squad to be able to take the game to them. Where is the unicorn? I have no idea, actually. Where is the unicorn? I have no idea. I don't know what's happening with it. My wife is doing this thing called nesting, when you're due to give birth to a baby and you start tidying stuff up in the house and things move around left, right, and centre. We've already done that one. Kevin, they're looking at Diop. How about Zoomer? I just wonder if our back line needs a right good freshening up. I really do. We freshened it up by bringing Sufal in. He's had a rest over the international break. We've got options there with Ben Johnson. We've brought Zuma in, who freshens it up. Ogbonna doesn't. He's got experience. Don't deny that at all, but so does Zuma. And then we've got Creswell, who's been firing on all cylinders over the last 18 months. And I just wonder if we need that freshening up in our defence, because we need to stop conceding goals, and we're still conceding. And some of the defensive errors against Brentford were proper calamity goals. So I just feel like maybe Moyes is going to shake it up a little bit, and he's got to put the pace in there. Augie doesn't have the pace against their pacey strikers and their pacey head forwards, and we need to nullify that threat. And I think that's where Diop comes in. Yes, they have. Maybe they'll do a video. Maybe they'll do a kidnap video, and we'll get that put out and advertise football prizes. Diop has looked strong this season. He has. James Bong saying, I have nothing against Augie and Fabs. They've been brilliant for us, but the French connection back three could well be our future. Yeah, I agree. And I think it could be something we may see sooner rather than later. Diop and Zuma are an exciting pairing. The thing is, Happy, I think all the pairings of central defenders that we've got are good options. I do. I think Dawson, on his day, will step in for West Ham and do a fantastic job. I don't really think Dawson's massively put a foot wrong in the games he's played so far, if I'm being brutally honest. And I don't think Diop's really put his foot wrong in the games that we've played so far. I think the only two defenders I could say that have put their foot wrong this season has been Zuma, but he's our new signing, and Augie. I do. I think they've been not. I especially don't think Augie's been firing on all cylinders. Zuma's new, so maybe he gets the benefit of the doubt because he's new. But we'll see. We'll see. Ludders is what Russ calls you. Good to see you, Helen. Thank you for joining. Where are we? Justice for Unicorn, Matt. Absolutely. And Unicorn has been stolen. Actually, I genuinely have no idea where it is. I actually have no idea where it is. I should have put some West Ham stuff up there. I've got loads of West Ham stuff sitting around. But the wife then, I put it up and then she takes it down. Diop at least needs a regularly rotated in. I saw we would put them all in with Zuma. I think what Moyes wants to do is try and solidify the teams that he's got. I think there's going to be a bit of transition and a bit of rotation, but I think the rotation comes when maybe West Ham switch it up and go to a 5 at the back. And I think at some point this season, West Ham will go to a 5 at the back. I don't think he's going to play the whole season with 4 at the back. I really don't. I genuinely don't believe it. I think against certain teams he may. And maybe this game against Everton could be the game that he plays 5 at the back. And I think Diop, Zuma, and Creswell in a back 5 could be an option, to be honest, and offer us the cover back there. Happy I'm right. Although Zuma is only 2 years older than Diop, he seems so much more mature. I wonder if I just can't help but think that that's maybe the amount of game and experience at the level of the experience he's had. Happy, you know, he's played Champions League football, he's played international football for France at the highest level. He's been playing at the top end of the Premier League, the right end of the Premier League. He's travelled throughout Europe as well. So the thing is about Zuma is that he did have quite a lot of game time at Chelsea, and he's a great footballer with great experience, and for his age, he comes with a high level of experience, and he follows that routine of what David Moyes is looking for. Let me see. God, something's happened. Is that what you're saying? I don't want to put it up, but hope everyone's okay. And is it in Norway? Hope everyone's okay in Norway. Let me see here. Pat, is it people season 2? I know I'm going. Oh, I don't even know what's going on here. Oh my God, what are you actually talking about? You're not even forever, Mick. Good to see you, mate. I've not seen you much really on the chat much. Are you well? Hope you are well. Hi all, plenty of games coming in thick and fast. They really are. I've done a video the other day on the amount of games that were coming up actually, and it's crazy amount of games. Also, please go and check out the video I did yesterday. I actually retitled it because it ended up being, is it going to be Fabianski out and Areola in? And in theory, that's just leading up nicely for the preview that we've got this Saturday evening. Yes, Saturday evening with a very good away fan that you've been on the channel several times. He's great. He's great. Crazy call. I still think Moyes will play Ogbonna, but I would prefer Diop. I get that, and I think a lot of people may think that Moyes will go with Diop and Ogbonna and Fabianski. However, would it be too drastic for him to change it? And by changing two players, my biggest concern is, and everyone's concern is the goal scorer and the striker. My biggest concern is we concede still too many goals. We still concede too many goals. We need to nullify that. We need to reduce the amount of goals we concede, because if you think about the games this year, Brentford, and then Newcastle still conceding two, and then going back last year, Arsenal, Wolves, all those games that West Ham really ran away with and conceded at the last second half or whatever, we need to nullify that threat. And that's something that Moyes has highlighted since he's came back to the club, that defence is an area that he wants to work on. And I would not be surprised if he does try and look at maybe giving Diop a go, but maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much of a risk to rest two players, dropping Fabianski and Ogbonna and playing the two. You know what? At the end of the day, I think Ogbonna's got a massive role to play at West Ham. And if Moyes sticks with Ogbonna, which he could quite possibly do, I think Ogbonna is mature enough to be able to handle the fact and understand that, yes, I have made errors and I need to make up for those errors. And maybe he will find his form again and get his form again. But I don't know. Maybe the Everton game's too quick for the change. We'll see. We will see. Raren, I would like to give Diop a go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hear Everton have a few injuries, so it may be a good time to play them, Mick. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Troj, good to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. Patrick Walsh, I don't even know what you're talking about. Sharky, Anton, do you see Moyes changing the formation soon to three centre backs? I personally do. I think when it's the right time, he will. I think it was the right time he did it last season. It was last season, wasn't it, when we played Leicester and Wolves early on? Was it the Leicester game that he went 5 at the back? And it worked wonders. It absolutely worked wonders. And I think that's how clever Moyes can be, is when he can change it when he needs to change it. And I'm not sure. I need to think about it, but I'm not sure if the Everton game's the right game because of who said it up there earlier on. Mick said it, because Everton have injuries. I still think we could play with a back four, but if they were fully fit, firing on all cylinders, which they've got players, the core for Everton right now is firing on all cylinders. He's dominating their midfield. He's driving the team forward. He's collecting the ball. He's doing everything that what Declan Rice is doing. He is their current Declan Rice. He is absolutely dominating in the games. And West Ham need to win that midfield battle first and foremost. But I just wonder if we can get at them by putting the two wing backs in there and playing 5 at the back and nullifying any threat coming through the middle. But what does that do for West Ham moving forward? Because Moyes has found a formula where West Ham score goals, and I don't think he wants to change that as well. Troj, Diop looks more of a monster than Ogbonna this season. I've got to agree with you. I really, really do. Absolutely. Forgot the unicorn. Where's the still top bins on the standby? Troj, Dawson has done nothing wrong. He hasn't this season, and I think he got a bit of discredit really last season because he had a couple of errors in a couple of games. But all in all, 95% of the games he's played for West Ham have been fantastic, and he's been performing at the highest level. But I don't think this is a game for Dawson. I think there's going to be games coming up in the Premier League that he will play. David Moyes, we need to start the Ogbonna cloning projects. Thanks, Moisey. Look at that picture. Love that picture. Troj, Ogbonna just need more match sharpness, I reckon, after an injury. Yeah. Matt, you're desperate for this go full French connection. You're absolutely desperate. Actually, I'll tell you what, Matt. I'll tell you what I'll do. If you are watching, mate, I'll send you the link to join. Let me just send this link to Matt, and he can come on and give you his opinion on it as well. Where is he? Oh, he's changed his name on Twitter. How dare you? What is your? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's Stato. Of course it is. Right, Matt. Link is in your Twitter, mate. So click that. Come and join us. Have a chat about what we're talking about. Give me your reasonings why. Ronda and Tony Tanti, Areola, Diop, and Zuma are the future. So start them now. I do agree. I do agree. But will Moyes take that? That's a big step in it. It's a big step. But if he has faith in his squad, this is what I've been going about all season. Massive, massive faith in the squad that Moyes has got, then I think it's definitely the right option. Neil T, I still think Oggy is the best with Zuma for now, but I'm a Diop fan and it shouldn't be long before he comes in. Neil T, I don't know if I'm going to put myself out here on a limb. I do think he's got a role to play, but I really worry because we do leak goals and we've leaked goals for so many seasons. And even though we had a good season last year, we had to outscore our opposition to get there. And I can't remotely turn right. This is why I said last year when Stell was talking about Augie getting Hammer of the Year, there was a reason he didn't get Hammer of the Year because West Ham had to outscore our opposition. So in my opinion, our defence didn't do a job. Yes, they nullified the threats, stopped some of the goals coming in. Actually, Matt, if you are watching, sorry, you don't even need the code. Just jump in, please. Come and give me your opinion. But yeah, we concede a lot, and I can't really turn around and say to the defence, "Oh, well done," because how can I? Because the amount of goals we concede year in and year out. Crazy call. Good point on the league goals. So why last year were we more solid? The thing is, I don't know if we were more solid. We can at just the point I've just said there, Neil T, we conceded a lot of goals. I'm actually going to see how many goals we did concede. Let's just get this up for us now. Premier League table 2021, and this will tell us the amount of goals we did concede. I mean, we conceded 47 goals. So that's on par, just to give people an example, that's on par with Brighton, who sat 16th last season. That's on par, a couple of goals shy of Burnley, who just finished above the relegation zone. Fulham conceded 53 goals, and then the other two teams at the bottom conceded a lot more. But that's on par with a lot of the teams down below. But the amount of games that we did concede so many goals, if you've taken away 5 or 6 of those goals, they're worthy of a lot more points. And I think there's a lot of errors in there. There was a lot of errors in our defensive duties last season that would have absolutely helped us. Here he comes, Stato. Good man.
You all right?
Yeah, not bad. What do you think then? I know we do the preview, mate. We do the preview a lot. We always talk about the partnership at the back, and you've been talking a lot about the French triangle. You were thinking Diop, Zuma, and Areola. But is it too big a risk to take for this game against Everton?
Well, surely they've just had 2 weeks of playing together. Like, don't forget, Zuma didn't get called up this time, did he? You know, Zuma basically got dropped because he got called up because West Ham bought him.
Yeah.
So they've had 2 weeks of playing together. And in all honesty, I think they've probably been, well, certainly at least Zuma and Diop have probably been our best centre-back pairing this season.
Yeah.
If you go on actual, I'm not talking about clean sheets. I'm talking about actual performances as like a cohesive two. Like you said, the Brentford game, I'm not being funny. Like, we conceded 2. We should have conceded 5 or 6. Like, if you go back and look at that game, we could have been 3-0 down inside the first 10 minutes. The goal we did concede in the first half, Ogbonna just got absolutely rinsed.
But do you think we're, like, a comment came in, I think it was Crazy Cole said there, why were we more solid last season than we so far have been this season? And I quickly answered by going, I don't think we were more solid last season. I think the biggest issue and the reason why Moyes said he desperately wanted a defender was because we were leaking too many goals. Now, okay, you can say 47 goals conceded, you know, it's probably lower end of the league. But we had to rely heavily on goals scored to try and get the points up there. We've been doing that for many seasons, Matt. But
there was a period at Christmas, wasn't there, last season, when we did go a lot of games without conceding.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Stell raised the point in the preview for Brentford game when he said that, or it might have been the Europa League game before that he said we still don't lose by more than one goal. For as much as we might concede, we've got to go back to, was it January against Liverpool? It was the last time we lost the game by more than one goal. So we're shipping goals. We're not shipping a lot of goals, but we're conceding goals. And there was that period last season when we weren't. We went for that period when Dawson first came in around Christmas. We weren't conceding, but then we weren't scoring as many. But also, at the time, we were a counter-attacking team. So we could just sit deep, put people behind the ball, and hit on the counter-attack. And teams have worked that out. Teams have worked out that you just don't attack West Ham, let West Ham attack, and then counter-attack the space behind us. And that's where Moyes... don't forget, it took him we got lucky that we had lockdown and he had 2-3 months straight of just training with the players to tell them, this is your job, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to play. Everyone talks about the low block, which is great in effect when you're the counter-attacking team, but you can't play a low block when you're the team with the possession. And, people are giving respect to us because we finished 6th last season. I don't think Moyes has found a way to balance out yet the having all the possession, going up the pitch and attacking, and yet not giving up the space in behind.
Yeah.
Which the only way you can do that with a high pressing team or a high attacking team is to have quicker defenders. Which is Ogbonna and Dawson. That is probably their only one. There's probably their only one downside overall as centre backs. They're not as pacey as Dawson and Diop.
And this is the thing, though. We're talking a lot here about pace, and we're talking a lot about coming up against Everton. And I've just mentioned there, Decor is having, a very good season at getting forward. And I know West Ham have got our options there. We've got all those options, but they have got a pacey forward line. You've got Andres Townsend, who's firing all cylinders, and all the other players that they've got. And we need to make sure we've got pace back there. And my concern is for the Everton game, is we can't afford to make the errors that we did against Brentford.
Absolutely not, no.
And the errors came from they came defensively. The errors came.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm suggesting, would Diop be the right position to come in? I spoke last night about Fabianski. I was talking about, Poland's loss is West Ham's gain, which I certainly do think it is. But is this the game that's right for Fabianski now to be left out, and for Areola to come in, and for Moyes to try out this, what the fans are calling the French triangle, where they can communicate strongly? Yeah. Do you think it's a bit of a risk, though, in the Premier League? Or do you think he's got the faith in the confidence?
They haven't been flying. They haven't been, Benitez has got them going forward, but at the back they haven't looked great.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they haven't been great in they haven't had, I don't think yet, they haven't had a complete 90 minutes. I go back to the game they won the other week. They won 3-0. But they scored 3 goals in 13 minutes. And they were just everything they touched went in. But then after that, they could have conceded goals. They don't defend particularly well. They're still not solid at the back themselves. Like you said, it's just the fact that they've got all these good players going forward. So would I try it? Yeah, like I said, Fabianski's been away on international duty. Ogbonna didn't have a great game last game. I know we conceded last minute and Moyes and, even Brentford manager said a draw was probably fair, but that's because we recovered in the second half. But, if they'd have been 3-0 up, 4-0 up at half-time, you could have argued against it. It looked like every time they attacked us, they looked like they may not score, but they looked like they were going to have a shot on target. They did look like they were going to cause problems. So you need to address it.
And it's definitely an area that needs to be addressed. We've played 7 games this season. We've conceded 10 goals, Matt, already in 7 games. And like I said, I could think of quite a few of those goals that were defensive errors, and it's something that Moyes has clearly stated as an area that he wants to make. It's an absolute no-brainer that he wants to change that, and I feel he addressed the right back situation. He brought Soufal in. Soufal's been injured and he's not played over the international duty. Fingers crossed he comes back. We'll hear more on his press conference and talk to you more about the preview. But then what you've got is you've got backup plans. You've got Ben Johnson if you need Ben Johnson. You've potentially got Ryan Fredericks if you need Ryan Fredericks. On the left back position, yes, okay, people say we need to strengthen, but you've got Creswell who's been firing on all cylinders again, and you've got what you could say is makeshift cover. in terms of Masuaku. He then wanted the fourth defender, central defender. He brought Dawson in last year, which I think was a year ago nearly to the day. He then brought in Zuma this season alongside Oggy and Dawson. Now, Dawson's not massively put his foot wrong. Not massively. He's overperformed than what West Ham fans expected. Oggy is the experienced West Ham defender. Diop's been brought in as the young future for West Ham, potentially take over that role. And Zuma's been brought in with the experience. So someone said earlier on, Oggy's still got the experience, but Zuma's got very good experience for such a young age.
Well, he's played, 17, 18 or something, 19. He started for Chelsea. And he done the rounds. He done a loan spell at, I think, Stoke. He done a loan spell at Everton as well, and they really liked him at the time. And he's played in Champions Leagues. Like, the guy's had experience, and you don't play that without having the quality to do it. So, yeah, they brought him in. But, look, Ogbonna is 33 going on 34.
Yeah. And
he will still be a good player. But, like I said, Moyes will drop players who thinks they had a bad game. So it will depend what Moyes thinks. Did he think Ogbonna had a bad game against Brentford?
He must. But this is where I put it down to. I do think he thinks that, and I think that he doesn't think he's dead and buried. I don't mean it like that. I think he's got an absolute, a real strong position to play at West Ham. We've got so many games coming up, but I think for this game he needs to change something. I think something needs to change. He needs to stop the errors. And yes, okay, we all know Diop made a few errors last season, but his confidence drops, and his confidence looks like it's a lot better. And all I'm suggesting is, Diop has got confidence, and West Ham need a bit of a boost back there. And I think the partnership between him and Zuma would probably work quite nicely. I think they look like they could work well together. Something we've not saw, but I think it's something we might see. Let's go into the chat and see what everyone is saying here. Ronda and Tony Tanti, Areola, Diop and Zuma are the future, so start them now. Where we are, Troj is saying, look at the age of the Italian centre-backs. I mean, I know they mature like a fine wine, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I think, Oggy's still got a massive future with West Ham, but I'm just really concerned at the fact that we are leaking goals, and we've been leaking goals for several years, and I know we're always going to leak goals, but I think we need to try something a bit different back there, but we'll see. I reckon Moyes thinks it's right time for the Gallic triangle. We'll see, mate. I don't know who that would be. Troz, Rice is more attacking this year, part of the reason. Well, actually, join us tomorrow for what we're calling the mass debate, Rice-Souček situation. Matt, we can get you on as well to come and talk about it. The Rice and Souček situation. Mick, thoughts on Ben Johnson as his contract runs out at the end of the season? I mean, for me, Ben Johnson's a no-brainer. I highly rate the guy.
They must have an option on it anyway. Like, I think every player that has a contract these days has a 1-year option just to make sure this situation doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I can't see him not giving him a contract. Like, I think he's done enough quite easily to show that he deserves a contract.
Yeah.
They'd be crazy to let him go.
Yeah. No, I know. Absolutely. Would you play Areola against Everton? We're going to hold that for the preview, but really, I mean, the whole point is not holding it for the preview, but really I'm saying yes, I would probably this time round.
I don't want to keep repeating, but I said all the way back at the Palace game that I think Areola needs to be... Look, I think Fabianski needs to be dropped. I said I don't think he's been commanding. I think he's made mistakes. The thing is, when I saw the Brentford game, I thought, he should have done better with the first goal, and the second goal, I was like, whatever happens, happens. And then I saw the second goal back, and I was like, that for me was worse than the first goal. Like, it wasn't a powerful header; it was straight at him. Any keeper in the league would just catch it. And if you're going to parry it, you've got to do what Pickford does at Everton, which uses his fists, so you get the distance on it. So for me, I've always said Moyes don't drop people till they make mistakes, and he did make mistakes. So, Moyes' logic, Areola probably should start.
Neil T, I don't agree, Anton. Oggy didn't get hammered here because of injury, in my opinion. Neil T, I mean, listen, it does sound like I'm on an Oggy bashing thing, but I really mean this when I say what I'm about to say. I am not bashing Ogbonna. I'm just merely suggesting the fact last year I was saying that I said earlier on, I don't know if you maybe missed it, I said earlier on that I don't think I personally wouldn't have put Oggy up there for Hammer of the Season. I know we had a chat going on But for me, I didn't think he was in the top 3 or 4, to be honest. And I know a lot of people were saying that he maybe should have been up there, but I still think we conceded a lot of goals, and I think there was a lot of defensive errors, and Moyes kept highlighting defence as an area that needed improvement. And I just don't know if we can give Hammer of the Year to a player in that area when other players were outperforming, like Thomas Suchek, who deservedly got it, Declan Rice, or even Vladimir Sufal.
I voted for Sufal. I'm not going to lie.
And even you could even go as far as saying Creswell for the amount of goals he was involved in. So I just think there was a lot more better players than Ogbonna last season. But again, I'm not absolutely tearing him to shreds, so please don't misunderstand me on that, Neil. Happy Amoret, what are the stat differences between the two players? Well, funny you say that. Let me go through some of them for you just now. So he said Diop has played 83 Premier League games for West Ham, scoring 6 goals. He's helped in keeping 13 clean sheets, and he's had 2 errors leading to goal. On top of that, scoring 2 own goals. Augie has played 170 times in the Premier League for West Ham, scoring 7. He's been involved in 37 clean sheets. He has had 2 errors leading to goal and 1 own goal. I'm trying to think what else we want to look at really here. Goals conceded since when he's been playing for West Ham, 247 to Diop's 119 goals that they've conceded. So really what you're saying here is, I'm looking at the stats now, Diop's roughly played half of the games that Augie's played in the Premier League. Roughly, give or take 5 or 6 games. So there's your comparison. They've played half the games, so we can do your percentage there. So in 83 games, he's kept 13 clean sheets. So he's roughly keeping a clean sheet 1 every 8 games. Then when you go to Augie, it's 37 clean sheets in 170 games. So
to be honest, the stats are pretty much the same. If you look,
they're pretty similar.
If you go into exact, it'll be different. The only thing that says to me is that Diop's better in the opposition box than Ogbonna is.
Yeah. Tackle success rate is 58% from Diop, 67% from Ogbonna. I mean, stats. It's an interesting one, but there you go. That's what you all asked for. That's what I'll give you. Happy.
Just jump on this one briefly. That was quiet. Anyone seen that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
David Brooks at Bournemouth.
24 years old.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's getting some treatment. So touch wood, he's going to get a lot better soon. Stephen Richardson, evening guys, Everton fan. Thank you for joining us. Troj, judging by the last game, Tuchel was right to claim that Zuma was struggling playing out of a high press. Yes, I do think that. But when you don't have a pacey defender beside you, that's my concern, especially when you've got pace coming at you.
I would say he struggled, but I wouldn't say he was the only one that struggled.
Yeah.
I think for the high press in the first half, I think the entire team struggled. It took us 45 minutes to get going against them. Second half, we controlled the ball better. Then it didn't really make a difference. But first half, I don't think any of them knew what to do. No one could handle the press.
Is Zuma crap now he plays for West Ham? No, he's not crap. He is.
Well, Deschamps obviously thinks so.
Richard Walton, he is dug me big style out here. Diop is not and never will be good enough to lace the boots of the club legend. Club legend, big statement there, Richard Walton. So no more clickbait nonsense like this on your channel ever again, please, Anton. Richard, I love your banter, mate. You need to calm the beans, son. Crazy call. But my point is, we are heading worse than last season. We were more solid before because we scored first and backline defended stronger. But I don't know if we are, though, Crazy. I think there's an element of the fact that we've got games coming thick and fast. And this time last season, we started off by losing the first 2 games of the season and then went on a good run. And we've started differently. We've won the games and then we've kind of, it's not been awful. I mean,
I think we're literally at the moment like to get the same points as we were last season.
Yeah. And you could say, Matt, Man United game, we were extremely unfortunate. Brentford different. That was our worst performance I've seen us for a long time. But
first half,
second half.
Even then, their manager said it probably should have been a draw.
Yeah.
So,
Troy's just saying last season we played once a week, not twice. Hopefully a full squad with Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin and Iwobi.
I don't know why I'm saying hopefully Iwobi. Iwobi's like genuinely awful. I'd rather if it was me, I played Damari Gray.
Matt, don't be saying that sort of stuff, man. Don't be saying that sort of stuff. George, also last season we got lucky and nicked a lot of winners with low possession. But I don't think West Ham's game is about being high possession. It
never has been.
What?
It never has been for Moyes.
It never has been. But I mean, things have changed a little bit this season. We have been having higher possession, because we've got those type of players. But I think we struggle when we play high possession football. Yeah, to be honest, sometimes we get lost. For it. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying about why people say we're losing games this year.
Yeah.
Is that last year Moyes, the season we stayed up, Moyes come in, he just was like everyone backs the wall, counter attack. Then we built on that last season because everyone was like, oh, West Ham is still a pushover. They just got a good end of last season relegation. They could be up for it again. So again, teams went at us, and then we showed that we can defend deep and counter attack and hurt teams. This year, teams have gone. Look what they got up front. We can't afford to get counter attack by West Ham because they'll do damage. So they're giving us the ball and going, no, we're going to counter attack you.
Yeah.
And we don't know what to do with the ball.
Yeah. Neil's saying, are we better away from home? 6 unbeaten. I don't.
I'd say
well, there could be a little bit of hangover from the Europa League though, and this break could have done West Ham the world of good. We don't know what players are coming back in what state, to be honest. I mean, Matt, we haven't even spoken about Yarmolenko. I mean, he's nipped away over the international duty. He scored 2 goals. He's 4 away from Shevchenko's record.
He's twin. He's twinned.
Yeah. And this
he's like bipolar. He's like 2 different players. But they do know how to play him.
That's what I was saying, and I know Luke put in the group chat that everyone ignored last night. We need to find a way of how you play Yarmolenko in this team, because I wonder if there is a way how you play Yarmolenko in this team. What would that? Yeah. What would that do to the rest of the team? What would that do? Would that lose the creativity that we can do? I don't know. We'll see. Crazy Call saying, let's face it, Ogbonna and Soufal have been average fitness, seen bad mistakes this season. Absolutely. But
then again, they said Ogbonna, not Ogbonna, sorry, but Soufal's been injured.
Yeah.
Since the Man United game, he's been playing injured.
I am not. And listen, I know this works. I know the chat goes backwards because we're so far behind on it, but I'm really not. Neil T, I'm really not writing him off, mate. Charles, that's why I was talking about age. Right. Yeah. Neil T, Augie has enough in the bank to have a couple of average games. But the problem is, I don't think this season in particular that Moyes is going to want to accept those average games. I think there's a time and a place with the amount of games we've got coming up that he's going to consider maybe some changes.
Look,
and
we've
seen the changes be made, and we've seen the changes be made in Europa League. And I wouldn't be surprised because we've got Everton on Sunday, then we go straight into, is it Genk?
At home on Thursday.
At home on Thursday, followed by Tottenham on the Sunday, and
followed by Man City on the Wednesday.
Yeah, and then bang, it's off in one again. So I'm trying to work out to myself, would I play Diop against a pacey, and here we go, against a very, very pacey Everton side, and play an Ogbonna against a very, very, very tall Genk forward, 6'7", 6'8". For me, it makes practical sense to play Augie in the game against Genk than it does to play Diop in the game against Genk, to be honest. And again, we'll have to wait and see. Good time to go at 3 at the back with Everton, Tottenham, City, Villa and Liverpool coming up. And I think he will at some point. I think you've been saying that, Matt, for such a long time as well.
He could go back to the back 3. He's got the options to do it.
Yeah. Troj, Ogbonna's massively better than Diop last few seasons. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, but like you said, Ogbonna's 33 and Diop's 24. Yeah. You'd expect him to be. He's 27, 28. It's sort of like when you hit your prime as a centre-back. Yeah. Diop's not even there yet.
Yeah. Zuma was great for us on loan. Wish we signed him permanently. That's because you're an Everton fan. That's right. So, yeah, I think we can all know that. Helen, I'm more concerned that the goals seem to have dried up since our first 2, scoring 4 in each. But I think there's... I don't know as such if they have... we scored...
We still created chances.
But we still scored...
Taken them.
But we scored goals. We scored 2 goals against Brentford. And conceded in the last minute. Like, I mean, at that point, 2 goals
we're still scoring goals. Yeah, we're still scoring goals.
Should be enough. Should be enough to win games, though. I mean, we've actually scored. Let me see here. I think we've scored 14 goals this season. So that's 2 every single.
Goals, isn't it?
That's
not even the cup games.
Yeah, but what I mean is, in 7 league games, we've scored 14 goals. That's 2 a game.
That's averages in 2 a game.
Yeah. So It's not. It's better than what we've been used to over.
It's just how
recent
many we
years, anyway.
conceded.
10.
So we're scoring 2, conceding 1.5.
Problem is we've scored 4 in one game.
Yeah, doesn't.
So yeah. So Happy Amrit, I believe Diop will be ready to be a Prem first team starter next season. I don't know, Happy, to be honest. I think this is the. I'm not saying is it a big statement to go make or break season for Diop? Is it? Is it a big statement to say that? Possibly too early to say that.
I can't get what she's getting from it. It might be the same as Ariola.
Yeah.
That he'll like filter him in. Because don't forget, I mean, look, Ogbonna potentially is out at the end of the season. I think we'll get another contract, but then he will be like 34 coming in as the one that's.
Yeah, and I think Moyes. I think Happy. I think I get the sentiment. I think Moyes is 100% looking for a partnership at the back that will not, the future partnership of West Ham at the central defensive over the next 6 months to a year will not involve Ogbonna and will not involve Dawson. It may involve Zuma, it may involve Diop, it may involve someone else as well. I don't doubt for a second he'll be bringing another central defender in. I really do think he will. I'm not saying it's going to be January, but I think it will be at some point in the near future, mate. Yep, people are all agreeing with each other here. P. Gads is saying, I think Yarmo still has a role to play in the Cups. And Neil T is saying, I don't.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. To be fair, if you go back to that Europa League game, for the 50 minutes, whatever he was on the pitch, 60 minutes, he actually played quite well.
Yeah.
We're going to Zagreb, was it? No, it wasn't Zagreb game. We played away in Zagreb. Rapid Vienna game.
Yeah.
He actually played quite well, especially in that first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
He just hasn't got the legs to play 90. Right.
No. Yep. Rhonda is saying we need to rest Rice and Souček, but when? Will join us tomorrow evening for the mass debate. We're talking about Rice and Souček. You can get your opinion across there, Rhonda. I fear Antonio, and I don't blame you, mate. I fear him, and I'm a West Ham fan. Paul Evans, not for me. Yarmo needs to go in January. Happy Amaret saying Yarmo could go on a goal-scoring run if he could just get the confidence he has for Ukraine. We get behind him. Be very afraid, Stephen. Motor 1912. The upstarting should worry everyone. Always an accident waiting to happen. I genuinely believe that most of our defenders have that calamity in them, unfortunately. I do think that probably all of our central defenders have a calamity in them, Matt. I think that's a fair statement. I've never felt that we've got a defender for such a long time. Ginge and Winston Reid were the last time that I could put a lot of confidence in our
to be fair, in the last couple of years, I would put Ogbonna in that. There was a period of time when I was like, I'd say that since Moyes come back, he's looked more defensively solid. I think before that he was, and I used to think at him like, oh no.
Yeah. Do we need Lingard back? Watch tomorrow. I'm going to do a daily on Lingard tomorrow, so keep an eye on it. I've read his statement. Antonio's our scoring beast. Be very afraid, Stephen. He has a decent rest. Absolutely, he has. Let's see what here. I'd be happy to have Jay Lings back. He tried to get game time, but now realizes he needs to play to keep his international career going. Just hope he chooses us and not Arsenal or like. Troj harsh on Oggy. Troj, I did say that though. To be fair, I did say but my point I'm trying to make is I do think that Ogbonna has a calamity in him. He does. He absolutely does. Yes, he's been solid for us over the last 2 years, but he's still more than capable of making a calamity. And I'm not saying that no defender doesn't. I think everyone's obviously, but the point I'm trying to make is I think he has got, from previous experience at West Ham, a calamitous background. And I think that's still there. I think Zuma also has that in him as well. Hopefully Rafa has a plan to keep him quiet. P-Gaz, none of the defenders are quick enough to get them out of long ball trouble. Troj, can you list his errors? I can't off the top of my head, but I could say Brentford the last game that we played. I think he was an error potentially for 2 of the goals, if I'm being brutally honest there. Try to go off the top of my head. I don't think he had a great game against Manchester United in the Premier League. I think Zuma carried our defence actually in that game. But we'll see. To be fair, Ogbonna was very poor in the Brentford game. Yeah, he was. Yes. Again, Troj, I'm not completely digging him out. I'm just making a case for why Diop should potentially start the game, and maybe trying to think in Moyes' head And I think what's going to be interesting, Matt, is what Moyes says in his press conference if he addresses the defensive errors as well. And if it'll be interesting because I think he will. He tends to address these things. He will not be happy after the Brentford game, mate. He will not be happy after the Brentford game. So, anyway. Any last thoughts you want to talk about Diop and Oggy?
Neither of them are going away. They're both going to get the game time. Will we sit and debate it or not? We've got so many games again. It's in some way, you know what? I don't like the international break, but in some ways, it's doing us a favour because we seem to be getting absolutely slammed for a month, playing 3 games a week for like 4 weeks straight, and then we have 2 weeks off. Will he drop one of them? I could see it happening. Even more so if you look forward to the game on Thursday. Like you said, the way they play. Team players are going to play. And the thing is, whether people like it or not, Diop is the long-term future. Ogbonna is the short-term present. Like, he's 33. He's probably maybe got 2 years. Maybe 2 years in him.
Yep.
At some point, you've got to start looking towards the future, which at the moment is Diop and Zuma.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, that brings an end. Oh, what has he done? He's back. Look at this. Here we go. Flagship show still. Here we go. Anton's obviously been negative about the most consistent defender we've had at the club for 5 seasons. Oh, if only Still would watch the show properly and understand what's been said. Anyway, thank you for joining us. This has been your West Ham Daily for today. If you are interested in becoming a member, please go and check out that link there. That will take you to the tier. I'm sorry, reading the comments now that Still's come in. I'll take you to all the tier situations we've got going on at the channel as well. Let me just address these. Absolutely, this donut of a man. Here we go. Anton's object been negative about the most consistent defender we've had at the club for 5 seasons. Matt, could you just back me up by saying who's the most negative West Ham fan we know in the history of this world? Exactamundo. Rich coming from him. Bad was very upset.
We just said he's been consistent. He's just in a bad patch of form right now.
Yeah,
I just said he's been our best defender for the last 2 years.
Yep, absolutely. So like I said, if you are interested in becoming a channel member, it's in the chat there. And what we usually do is finish off the show by thanking all the channel members. Of course, thank you to all you viewers as well. But if you are interested, check out the link I've put in there. And take it easy, and we'll see you tomorrow evening for the mass debate.
It's like a family tree.